Well, here we are again, and we have a lot of important news this morning. Sooner than expected, the Model 3 Plus is now on the website, and you can place your order. Deliveries on the new Model 3 in the US will begin by the end of this month. Despite all the upgrades, the prices are the same as before. You get 8 more miles of range, 341 on the new long range trim versus the old long range trim. So it's 341 versus 333. The Model 3 rear wheel drive will be 38,990. What a deal. 272-mile range. And the Model 3 long range, 45,990. Same prices, but still no $7,500 on purchase. The $7,500 is available, however, on the lease spread across the payments. You can get a lease on a Model 3 now, starting at the brand new one, with all of the bells and whistles, all the cool stuff that's on the Model 3 at $329 per month. This is hugely profitable for Tesla, as I've noted before. They make so much money on the leases. Of course, the negative for you, if you get the leases, you do not have the option to purchase it at the end. And then if you're getting a lease, you probably will only subscribe to FSD, not purchase it, because the cost of that purchase over 3 years and then not getting it at the end would be silly. Anyway, this is the car I would buy if I was in the market. In fact, my wife and I talked about it last night. Maybe we get the Cybertruck sometime early next year, and then what do you call it? Trade in the Model Y on a Model 3. I just like the style and the look, and I like the new benefits of the Model 3. And then I guess I'd finally have to let go of my Volvo, wouldn't I? Anyway, but I'd want the performance. That way I wouldn't feel the loss so much on my Volvo. So I'd want the performance, and the performance is not being offered yet. I'm quite confident that by this time next year, the performance will be available, and maybe all kinds of other things that we don't even know about yet. Many are talking about placing, many people talking about placing orders today. Sawyer Merritt said he has 255 folks already notify him that they're placing orders. I've expected this product to be a huge hit in China and in Europe. There hasn't been any obvious clarity that there's big waiting lines, or that you can't get it until June or anything. I really expected this to be a massive hit. And we've talked about what will they do if that happens. Well, maybe the U.S. is going to lead the way. And then if the U.S. does lead the way, what will that mean in terms of where they're going to make more of these? So I've talked about whether they could, turn over the Fremont line that now makes Ys and turn that into 3s, and then put all of the effort down in Austin into the Model Y. We've talked about the possibility of the Model 3 being done in Berlin, which nobody talks about, just me. That was part of the original deal, and that they were going to make Model 3s in Berlin. Will they now, if it really kicks off, will they start making Model 3s in Berlin as well? Another option would be that they would make Model Ys and 3s in Austin. I think that's the least likely of the ideas, but that's another possibility. Anyway, with the Model 3 announcement, Tesla stock is down in an up market this morning. Now, the market isn't hugely up and Tesla isn't hugely down, but down. There's no way to figure this except the recent price action has already been defying analysis, other than the fear of the earnings call and the horrible press. What do you think? This is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. Yesterday at the midday period, I did a video where I tore into what's going on with Tesla stock right now. It makes 0 sense, continues to make 0 sense this morning. But I did give you, 15, 20, I forget how long, maybe it was even a half an hour video on what I think is going on. And it was very well received. So you've probably already seen it, but if you haven't, I'll put up a card later. Of course, this afternoon, we're finally going to, later around 11 o'clock, we'll finally have the video from Brian White that I've been promising for 3 days, but things keep happening. And then tonight, Jeff Lutz should be joining me as co-host on Good News Wednesday. So you can look forward to that. That's why you want to hit that notify button. And people keep saying, Randy, we're getting tired of seeing your advertisement for the Cybertruck bottle opener. Give it up, give it up, give it up. I'm not going to give it up. Sold 6 yesterday. Where's your order? So you know what the deal is. Place your order, $25 for one, $45 for two, $65 for three. And, you can order the camouflage or the regular one. They're still selling great. So no, I won't stop talking to you about them, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time. All the information is down below in the description. You know where to find it. And then join Patreon. Thank you very, very much for the, I think, 6 or 7 people that have joined so far in the beginning of this year. We could obviously use a lot more help supporting the channel. So, are the new products that Elon talked about the other day, what do you think they are? Before I say anything, tell me in the comments below what you think the new products might be. We had that discussion a little bit the other day, and then somebody popped up with an answer yesterday. Are they different robot types? Maybe there's going to be a robot on wheels. Maybe there's going to be, the, what do you call it? The quadruped, something like a dog. All these other companies have these they're for a reason, that they have those. Are there going to be some other, as Elon calls them, other friendly robots? Well, that's what was suggested in the master plan, I believe it was, that Tesla might be doing some of those kind of things. Maybe that's what he's talking about in terms of other products. Do you think that could be it? Some people are saying that on X right now. All right, then, according to industry stats, Tesla vehicles are now only $1,300 higher than an equivalent ICE car. Now, you have to put quotation marks around the word equivalent. So I'm not sure exactly how they're measuring equivalent anymore because, just because it's the equivalent body style and maybe the equivalent range, or I don't know, the equivalent power, but, there's no equivalent. If you put it up against what might be called equivalents, those cars do not have anywhere close to the acceleration. If you put it up against those equivalent cars, they don't have anything even remotely close to the entertainment center and the use of an app to control your car for so many things. I mean, the availability of FSD, the list is so long. There is no such thing as an equivalent car. And then if it has an equivalent sticker, so-called, then you're still not getting the benefit of electrification, where you are saving money and where you're not making trips to the gas station anymore. We make a trip to a power station, a supercharger station, maybe about once every 60 days. If we're going down to visit my brother in San Diego or going to Vegas, there just isn't any reason to go to get supercharger. We charge in our garage. Anyway, X saying yesterday that the breach, X themselves, the company, saying yesterday that the breach at the SEC that resulted in false information about the ETF being approved by the SEC was not a breach of, the ETF for Bitcoin. It wasn't a breach at X at all. Their investigation shows that it was the result of someone getting access to the phone number associated with the account. So good for X. They were not breached. That's a very positive statement this morning. So markets are relatively still this morning. Everybody's probably a little nervous or concerned or interested in what the CPI numbers are going to be tomorrow, the PPI numbers on Friday, how that's going to affect the Fed thinking. Well, I think there's as much interest in the bank earnings on Friday, which is the beginning of the earnings season, as there is about the CPI and the PPI. Look, we're not 100% past caring about the inflation rate and about the impact that's going to have on interest rates and whether the Fed is going to lower the interest rates at the March meeting, et cetera. But I think the importance of earnings and guidance is now going to be more critical. I've stated this repeatedly. The consumer and businesses can deal with interest rates at these levels. I can prove it. mortgages are up 10% just on this small, interest. I mean, interest rates on mortgages are still in the sixes, and yet they're up 10% based on just that small drop. So I don't think anybody is not buying a new refrigerator because of the interest rates at these current levels. But the business upheavals of the last 3 years, the government stupidity of the last 3 years could create, and the continuing stupidity of the Fed might create a recession or not stop one. Remember, my theory about the Fed is not so much what they're doing with regard to rates, it's what they're doing with regard to quantitative tightening and how that is reducing the amount of money that's available in the system. So earnings and guidance right now are at least equally important as the interest rates are as we go forward. So what's going to happen on Friday? I think the markets care. I think that's why right now there's kind of a pause, although you never know. As we know, this program comes out at approximately 7:10. I give my last little conversation about it before 7 o'clock. And by the time you see it at 7:15 or 7:30, everything could change. So we really never know how the day is going to work out. So where are those markets now? We're going to have that conversation. Let's start, as we always do, with Tesla. Tesla is still down. It's down $1.87. It is trending down, although there's a little blip up at the bottom here, but it's insignificant. The trend is down all morning for Tesla so far, which is, as I said, weird. Apple's down a little bit, but they got a downgrade today. Tesla hasn't any downgrades. Tesla's now down 271. It's just dropped another dollar as we've been sitting here and talking about it. The Dow Jones is down 69. I'm sorry. Very sorry. The Dow is up 66. The NASDAQ is up 7. S&P is up 5. And the rest of the Magnificent Seven, except for Apple and Tesla, are all up. The Cathie Woods are mixed, but mostly down, but not significantly down. Pretty flat overall on the Cathie Woods this morning. Let me give you the percentages again. We got Dow Jones up 0.15%, NASDAQ up 0.06%, S&P up 0.12%, and Tesla down 1.1%. Go figure, on a morning where they've announced that the Model 3 Plus is now going to be available in the United States. All right, let's go find out what's happening. I think I already know what's happening on bonds this morning, and it's not the reason for Tesla being down. Bonds are yields are down almost 2% to 4.00 exactly. They were earlier under 4%, but now they're back up to precisely 4%. We have got the 2-year is down even more. I'm sorry, the yields are down. That would make the bonds up, the yields down. The yields are down almost 4 basis points to 4.335. So that is shrinking now. That's easy to figure out right now. It is exactly 0.335, 33.5 basis points between the 10-year and the 2-year. That is down from kind of an average. It's been about 50 basis points. So that yield inversion is starting to pull closer. The short-term bonds are all down less, meaning that the inversion is increasing on those. But at least on the 2-year, we're seeing things get closer. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at oil. This morning earlier, oil was headed up a tiny bit. Whoops, things all messed up again. We have the oil up $1.29. That's almost 1%. I'm sorry, reverse that. The oil is up 94 cents. That's 1.3%. And that is West Texas Intermediate at $73. Brent up about the same amount at $78.43. That spread is still $5, where it normally is about 3. Nat gas down 3%, continues to be extremely volatile, and again is at pretty low levels considering it's January and the winter has begun in the East Coast of the United States. We've got gold flat as heck. We've got silver down 0.33%. We've got copper up 0.36%. So not a lot of action in that section. We've got the dollar even. We have got Bitcoin down 2,000 point, 1,890 point, 1,890 this morning, a 4% down at 44,850. That is pretty much in the trading range where it's been. I guess back to the waiting, what's going to happen on that ETF. We've got that's it, right? We've covered all of that stuff. Let's go back and look at Tesla again. What is happening there? Tesla down 133, down $3.12. Just straight down this morning. What in the heck is going on? I gave you my analysis yesterday. My analysis hasn't changed. I think the press is killing Tesla, and I think people are very concerned about what it is going to happen on earnings day with regard to margins and with regard to the what Tesla is going to say in terms of their guidance for the rest of the year. So we might be looking at Tesla being under pressure for the next 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks from today that we get all that news. All right, so please, you want to go back and look at the details of that conversation yesterday with regard to what's happening to Tesla stock and continuing to happen this morning. I will put that card right here. Then in addition to that, last night's conversation with Nicholas Gibbs was amazing. I learn from Nicholas every single week. Here's a guy that's only in his 30s and he's been playing the market for 20 years, and he brings a lot of fresh and youthful enthusiasm and understanding to the market. And if you didn't see that, you might want to take a look at that. I will put that card up as well. Later today, as you know, we've got Brian White, he's normally on Monday and Tuesday. He'll be on Wednesday and Thursday this week because of interrupting things going on. And then tonight, it'll be, as always, on Wednesday night, at least if he's available. Sometimes he's not. That'll be Jeff Lutz, which, Jeff brings huge amounts to the conversation. And then get your Cybertruck bottle opener. You want one. And also join Patreon. All right, that's it for this morning. It has been great talking to you.